What up, dog? Welcome back to the Beat Factory 313 War Stories podcast, and I'm your host, Juice. And let them know who we got with us today, nephew.
Got LB, man.
What's going on, LB, man? I appreciate you for tapping in, man. You got a very interesting case, man. Let the people know how this case started.
All right, so in 2020 during the pandemic,
Speak up just a little. Speak up a little bit. Speak up a little bit, nephew.
You say talk up a little bit?
Yep, please.
All right. Well, in 2020, I got caught up in the pandemic for catching a parole violation. The parole violation turned into a case because the shooter in the case that had nothing to do with me said vice lord. So in the process of that, the feds was already indicting the vice lord. And who would they put into the middle of that? Me.
Why they put
Long story short.
Why they put you in the middle, nephew?
So I'm a high-ranking member. It was never no denial of it, but my affiliation had absolutely nothing to do with nothing.
Okay.
It's just by somebody saying that they got into it with me. My ex-girl said she got into it with me, and by the shooter saying vice lord, they rolled it all together, and she said it was me. No evidence or nothing.
Okay. So what kind of charge you end up? How they come at you with? What take us through what you went through, what they took you through.
So the first charges they came with was 2 assault attempt to murder, and a whole bunch of gun charges. By the time we went to trial, it was 1 assault with attempt to murder, and at the end of trial, I got found guilty of a jury instruction of a lesser charge of great bodily harm. And they sentenced me to 30 years for it.
Hold on. Run that back in. You got sentenced for what?
So the jury, at the last minute, the prosecutor came up with an instruction for the jury to find me guilty of something. Not of the actual case, but of something with a violent intent, which was great bodily harm. And by me being the 4th habitual, and this was a violent case, I get an automatic 25 for the charge and 5 for the gun.
Okay. So that turned out to be how much time?
30. It's 30 to 50.
Now this with the state of the feds.
Yeah, now this is the state.
Oh, this is the state. Okay.
So in the midst of all this, government RICO charges on me. Racketeering, RICO conspiracy. Count 2, assault with a dangerous weapon in the aid of racketeering. And count 3, controlled substance from 2010 all the way up to 2020.
For 10 years?
10 years I was incarcerated.
Oh, so they brought up a RICO. So you was incarcerated for them 10 years that they trying to hit you with a RICO for?
Right.
Okay. No, during that time, where you was incarcerated at?
I was in the NDOC.
Okay. And so how they come about with this RICO with you?
So with the RICO, they came up with the scheme that by me being a high-ranking member of a gang, and I'm certified, I was the one orchestrating, organizing hits, and distributing drugs through the NDOC.
So
they took phone calls, they had confidential informants, and they interpreted the part.
So did they have any people working against y'all rating against?
Absolutely. They got 2 high-ranking members of the organization to come to court and testify, look us in our face and testify. One guy, I know him, but I don't personally know this guy. He's not even the type of guy I talk. But this guy went so far to sell a dream about me. And that was their whole angling right there. That's their whole case.
So now what's going on?
They gave a guy.
Go ahead.
I can hear you.
Go ahead. Say what you were saying.
Oh yeah, that was in a motorcycle outlaw club and a gang member immunity to testify against us, and they paid him over $150,000 in 10 gold bars for his services. And he was the one committing the crimes with him, allegedly.
Allegedly. Now, was you able to get this type of information from your lawyer from a private investigator?
So when you go to federal trial, they got something called Chinks material.
Mm-hmm.
And Chinks material was so intricate that whoever they got for a witness to tell you, this is a last minute witness, this is the nail in the casket. When they get this guy or whoever it is,
mm-hmm.
you have your lawyer got X amount of time to do research on this person. So anytime you receive money from a job or from a function of the government, you must file taxes. And this is how we got this, because the guy failed to file taxes on the money, which was illegal. So they used the illegal statements against us.
And so how many people did they bring in? Because how many people did they bring in on this RICO?
So the initial indictment was 40 members of the Almighty Viceroy Nation. The 40 people was the biggest indictment in Michigan history at that particular time.
Mm-hmm. What year was this?
This was 2021, June 3rd.
Okay, and this all started from them watching y'all from the prison. This started from the prison and worked its way to the streets.
So we had an indictment prior to this, 2 indictments. One with the traveler vice lords and one with a motorcycle gang that were vice lords.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2012, the motorcycle gang got indicted. In 2014, the traveler vice lords got indicted. So the guy, Kevin Lucky, told because he got violated. He was a traveler vice lord, and he wanted to, they told him he had to kill somebody allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to his parole officer in 2016 and said he feared for his life. She introduced him to the ATF, and that's when the story took off. He didn't feel comfortable in 2000.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Go ahead, and you can call back, nephew.
All right, we got it's a 15-minute block on the phone.
I know. Go ahead, though.
All right, so in 2018, he didn't feel comfortable, so he stopped reporting. He got another violation from his big homie in 2019, and he just turned up. He became a full-blown rat.
Okay. And so then what transpired? It was him, and then what they started doing, they started tapping y'all phones. They started monitoring y'all visits. What steps did they take to build this case?
They start taking my phone records because
mm-hmm.
they never had a face of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
In my bros in the street case, they had him wearing actual cameras. His cell phone was wired. His key fob to his car was wired. Every time he made a deal, he'd call the feds directly like, hey.
Thank you for using GT.
Ready?
Yup, go ahead.
All right, so Kevin Lucky got tired of getting violated because he got violated in front of his girl by his big homie, right?
Okay.
And when that happened, it hurt him so bad because they stumped him out in front of his girl. He got up the next day, took pictures, and called the ATF agent, Special Agent Joseph Neither, and the rest is history. That's where the new line of investigation really picked up. So through the testimony of Special Agent Neither, he stated that he's been trying to infiltrate the vice lord for multiple years. The problem was we so secretive about letting people around and interacting with new guys that his only way in was a guy who broke bad.
Mm-hmm.
So the way they got him was they talked him good, they ended up paying him good, and they told him, we gonna look the other way about your illegal activities.
Get out of here.
That's what led to the actual indictment on Spaghetti and us.
And so how long did that investigation go on? Allegedly.
So the initial investigation started, let them tell it, from 2010 all the way up to 2021. They was by 2021, they were just adding names, right? Mm-hmm. Like my situation is, they never had a face to go with the name.
Okay.
So my name LB, multiple LBs in the Vice Lord organization. So when you're trying to find out what LB we talking about, you got to give a characteristic of what LB, you know?
Right.
So that was the only good thing in my favor, but it's only one spaghetti. You know what I mean?
Right, right. And so take us down through what they start coming out with first. When they first made their presence known to y'all.
So when I went home in October 29th, 2019 from doing 14 years and 9 months in the NDOC.
Okay.
I'm out there, I'm getting acclimated with life, chilling. And in the process of this, I started noticing weird things as I hung with people. And when I was noticing it, my biological sister was noticing it. A couple other guys.
Things like what? What you was seeing, nephew? Things like?
For instance, I was leaving Chicago one day and I get pulled over by an ATF agent. And I said, damn, when ATF started doing traffic stops? They said, well, we do not. Stuff like that.
Right. So that was obvious.
My sister called me one night because
I
had her car. I swapped cars out because I'd be riding the hood in the low-key car. And my sister, what are you doing in my car? I'm like, I ain't doing nothing. So why would I do something to your car? She showed me of a truck, an F-150 blocked off the back of her car, with all 4 doors open in the trunk, and they raided her car. And she's recording. My sister stayed in Berkeley at the time. Royal Oak.
Right.
So she's showing me the video. I uploaded on my Facebook story, like, and we got some fishy stuff going on.
Okay. So then what went on?
I can hear you.
I say, so then what went on? Can you hear me?
From there, like, sketchy people, like people just started coming around out the woodwork, asking odd questions. Guys asking for dope. It's just stuff that don't fit in, because at this time, like, if me and you talk for years and we ain't never talk about dope, what's gonna make you start talking to me about dope today?
Right.
Guys tapping in, hey man, what's up? I heard you got the plug in on this. No, I ain't got the plug on nothing, bro. I don't even know you.
Right. So then when they bring it all unravel and then just drop the net on everybody, start swooping people up?
So the actual takedown day was June 3rd, 2021. I was at Carson City level 1 for my PT, my parole violation. I woke up and got on the J-Pay. I sent out a J-Pay the day before because I had anxiety for some reason. I told my baby mama, like, hey, listen, I'm not feeling right. When I looked up, I had 20 J-Pay messages. As I was scrolling through the messages, I seen one from my lawyer, Patrick Ninehouse. Patrick was like, hey, bro, stop talking on the phone. You just got indicted. You want a 175-page indictment for the Vice Lord. This ain't attorney-client privilege. I'll be there to see you tomorrow. I look up on TV. It's breaking news in Carson City, Michigan. The biggest indictment in Michigan history, the almighty Vice Lords. I say, oh, them guys some fools. I look up and see a picture of me.
Get out of here.
Man, listen. I called my mama, and I still haven't heard the rest of it till this day.
So
now, I'm on local news, right? My mama only looking at what the news saying because family members telling her stuff. Oh, your son was out here doing this. He's murdering this. He's selling dope. They shooting this. They pushing dope. But my mama, like, I wasn't seeing it. The boy was only home for 10 months. You know, they got to paint their picture.
So what the feds come and say when they came and got you?
So oddly enough, the feds never talked to me per se because I had counsel before I even got arraigned. But when I sat in the federal detainment center, I started noticing a lot of guys that was in the NDOC that used to be vice lords were pending bad cases with cases with a lot of time on them, being in the cell with me or being in my environment on fed routes with me. And I'm telling my lawyer, and my lawyer said, I don't know if y'all know, fed guys is the worst guys to ever talk to.
Right.
All they want to do is get a deal.
Right.
at the expense of you. They don't care about rank.
Did you run into Spaghetti?
So oddly enough, Spaghetti ended up being my bunkie when we ended up going to Milan detention center. So, you know, we had a couple internal problems. We had not me and Spaghetti, but me and a couple bros. So me and Spaghetti ended up having to sit down, you know, to de-escalate the situation. It came up, Big Bro said, hey, personal stuff, cut it out. We got a bigger fish on our hand right now, and that's the Fed. After this, y'all can do whatever y'all got to do. But what we not going to do is this. We're not going to make a mockery. So a lot of guys, we had to swallow our pride. A lot of people who didn't like each other. That's what this indictment is. A lot of guys who don't like each other. And they put us all in one category.
Get out of here. So that's what started this whole indictment, some jealousy and envy.
So the actual indictment started off of that, but each individual House of Vice Lords, which was in the state of Michigan, was independently operating. The Fed's little sick self put a syndicate, put an order together with this guy Kevin Luckey to make a board. And when they formed the board, it unified all the houses. So now when they unified the houses, which we was already almighty vice lords, but we all got different walks of life, different schools of thought, different ideologies. You might want to do this and I'm not for it, or I want to do this and you not for it.
Right.
So we all move at our own pace. They helped put the plan together, the intricate plot of forming a board to push their agenda. And that's really where the indictment came, because all the guys that sat at the table don't get along with each other.
So how did they actually tie them together as from their investigation then? If they was watching them, they didn't see that they really didn't deal with each other on no illegal businesses?
So the way that the Feds does evidence is, we had 16 terabytes of information apiece, right? Got 40 guys with 16 terabytes that we had our own computers for our discovery. So they have put a boatload of information, irrelevant stuff in there, irrelevant stuff. The thing is, when they go to trial, you can't prevent the evidence that's in your favor unless you getting on the stand. And you know how many of us gonna get on the stand and defend ourselves?
Right.
Not too many.
Right.
Because of our previous criminal history on certain situations. So they made a chart with, like, they really showed in one of the bros, the bro 12 defense was, it was so much discord. How can this be a conspiracy? Because he was allegedly trying to kill Spaghetti. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So if I'm trying to kill somebody, how are we one with a conspiracy?
Exactly.
And this is where the problem came in, because in the Feds, they have something called a multiple conspiracy defense. So if you got a conspiracy inside of a conspiracy inside of a conspiracy, you can never get to the bottom of the riddle.
For real. So all they did was put up a smoke screen.
Right. Now, on our drug conspiracy, so now these guys went and got dope from vice lords that ain't had nothing to do with us. Guys that wasn't even vice lords on cases that had nothing to do with this case. And they added their dope to our dope, because some of the guys that sold dope, that's what it is.
Right.
And I own responsibility for the things that I did. Kenneth Johnson did what Kenneth Johnson did. It had nothing to do with a conspiracy of me paying homage to nobody, because I get my own money.
Right.
And when they take my bag, add it to your bag, and 50 other guys you never met bag, you done went from, let's just say you went from approximately 1 kilo to 10 kilos now. So now you were moving metric tons in a year, you know what I mean? And there's no actual proof behind it. So one of the jury instructions, because they got interrogative on the jury instructions, if you get found guilty of a conspiracy to deliver drugs, they have to break down what drugs did they feel you was in conspiracy with, the weight amount of it, and at what time frame. That's what the jury has to find out in the Feds. It's very interesting.
And so
in my case,
go ahead.
Right. In my case, how did I move all of this drugs when I was in prison? So if I was moving this much dope in prison, I got to be John Gotti.
And so who did they use against you? How did they prove how did they prove their case against you then?
So my defense at the whole time was Kevin Lucky kept saying I had large lump sums of money, and they asked, did I ever sell dope? And he said out his mouth, no, he never sold me dope, but he sold people I know dope. We can't use that type of information, man. No one came to court to testify against me. The best thing that ruled for me was my homeboy Sherrod Long flew up here from Texas and got on the stand on my behalf and explained where I got all this money at. My homeboy owned a trucking company. I drive semi-trucks, bro.
Okay.
So by me coming home from prison, and I'm coming across mad lump sums of money because the pandemic, they paid us a lot of money to move loads through the United States.
Right.
So you remember everything was down during the pandemic.
Right.
I posted a video coming from, I believe, like Ohio somewhere, and I had $60,000 on it. Never had no dope paraphernalia with me, never said anything about dope. They used this video and said, oh, yeah, see, that's dope money right there. But my homeboy came to court and gave him the W-2 of our legal money from our transactions of trucking. It just showed they had no credibility towards me.
Right. So then what did they use then? Because we here today, so keep going. What did they use after that? After he proved that money came from?
1 minute remaining.
After he proved where that money came from, then what was their next leverage?
So I was on Facebook talking to a couple females about pulling up, bringing some weed. Or my little cousins in Taylor wanted some weed, and I'll bring some weed. And now they talking about, oh, well, he a big weed dealer. He sell pills, because I had some Adderalls when I came home. And I never sold them. I gave them away.
Right.
So by me giving a party favor away in a lump sum, that's an illegal activity. But I did that as Kenneth Johnson, not as Vice Lord Kenneth Johnson, not as LB.
Right.
And this is, anytime you front somebody some work, or anytime you tell somebody, hey, I'll get that from you later, that's a conspiracy. Whether the guys know this or not. They
didn't know that because I ain't know that. Call back too now if you keep going.
All right. But that's how they operate the conspiracy. Anytime you front somebody something, that's an act of itself.
Thank you for using GTA.
You good.
All right. So when it came down to the conspiracies, right? A lot of guys don't know. Just a simple conversation ain't a conspiracy. A thought not a conspiracy. It's an agreement with two or more people. So if I call you and say, hey, Juice, what's the price of this? And you say what the price is, that's not against the law. The second I say, well, let me get that and I'm on my way, that's a conspiracy because we just agreed to something.
Right.
You feel me?
Okay.
So on the racketeering aspect, they got something called the racketeering pattern. Racketeering pattern is something that you did within 10 years, in the previous 10 years, in the name of the enterprise that you're being indicted as. So just because your gang or whatever you represent don't have a name, it's still an enterprise. So if me, you, and several other people got likeliness together, say we all from this hood and we do this together the same way and we wear our hats a certain way, that means we a gang, that we are an enterprise now. So whatever I did in the name of that enterprise that was illegal, you need 2 or more acts within 10 years. So if you smack somebody 10 years ago under our enterprise name, and then let's just say today you yell out the name of the hood or the enterprise in the process of another crime, that's called a racketeering pattern, and that's where RICO come in.
Get out of here.
Now, imagine that from something that you did, I'm being held accountable for.
That's wild.
And this is where the federal government has the angle at. And when they put the clamps on you, I know you heard, don't nobody beat the feds. Well, you talking to me right now, man. The feds have a way of manipulating the law only in their favor.
What you mean by that?
Right now, I want the homies to understand that they got a rule called FRE 702. It's an expert witness. Now, in order to be considered an expert witness, you have to be verified in your field of expertise. You got to have knowledge, skill, education, understanding, and specialties in this field. So when they get to interpreting what Vice Lord mean, a person that has no affiliation with us tell us what we represent, what we stand for, and who we are, instead of asking one of us.
So how did they come up with this? Did they ask one of y'all? Mm-hmm.
You know, when they get a guy, Kevin Lucky, they got Kevin Lucky, and then they got another brother named Sterling Caraway. And these guys sat down and came up with intricate details that they said, oh, that's what this means, that's what this means. To be honest with you, Sterling Caraway ain't never really been in the in crowd. The guy looked like Urkel. Nobody took him serious, man. But he followed a drug deal on the Facebook, talking to a white chick that was pretty, man. Her name was Mary Beeler. And he sold 50 grams to her, man, because it was quick money. And that's how he got jammed up. So he started putting lies together that aim at other people. You know what I mean?
Right. Where did they say they very first start? Go ahead. I don't want to stop you. Go ahead.
No, I couldn't hear you.
No, go ahead. I don't want to stop you. Go ahead.
Oh no. So what I was saying is, like, when they got the clamps on you, remember, now this brother was going to school. He was a positive brother. He wasn't doing nothing illegal. He just saw a white girl that was pretty and was like, hey, I'm trying to get on you. He don't realize, she tell him, I'm the plug in Youngstown, Ohio. And she asked for a couple grams. He did it. And she's like, well, you could have told me this was steady, but it wasn't. And can you give me 50 more grams? So he gave her 50 grams. So now we have 52 grams. So she asked for another 50 grams, probably like 3 weeks later. No exaggeration. He called the homies. They end up getting it. Long story short, he take it to her. They vamp him. They get him in the dark room. He hold firm for 2 seconds until Mary Beeler came in and said, hey, what can you tell us to get you out of this? And he said, I can tell you about all the Vice Lords. Now this guy ain't never had no affiliations.
Who was Mary Beeler?
So she was a federal agent, undercover special agent.
Okay. Now go ahead. And you say he never had no affiliation? Go ahead.
Right. He never had too many affiliations with Spaghetti, me, Marty. He never had these type of affiliations, but he made himself feel like he had it, and they ran with it. It was absolutely no proof with him having any conspiracy with me, Marty, or Spaghetti. His conspiracy was with 12, and that's where they cooked him at.
Now, who was 12?
So in our trial group, it was the leaders. That's what the trial group was called. You had Spaghetti at the number 1. You had Prince Marty at the number 2. You had 12. I believe his number was 10 of the indictment. And you had me, which was number 25.
Okay. And so,
you know, we all had all our numbers, and people think the way it was lined up, that means the role that you had in the indictment. To a degree, that's right. But when we first got indicted, it was 27 of us on the RICO. Then they superseded and added an extra person, which made it 28 people.
28 people. So out of all 28 people, how many people flipped on y'all?
So oddly enough, everybody in the 28, probably 20 of them know me personally, 20 to 23 of them. But we never did business, if you catch my drift.
Right.
And you know, it's some stuff to pass. I'm like, hey, that's bro. He a such and such Vice Lord. He from over here. Hey, bro, if I come through, all right, it's all love. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's so. What they did was they put this umbrella over us. So out of the 40 guys that got indicted, 28 of us was under the RICO. So with that 12 different people that wasn't a part of the RICO, they just had charges that was additional to the RICO, you know, that might have catered to it.
And so what all was on y'all RICO? What all did they come and hit y'all with? What was the charges? What was our charges?
So under RICO, RICO contains basically anything illegal. So we have one murder in there, but that's under RICO, and they got superseded for a murder for a murderous act in the aid of racketeering. You know, assault in the aid of racketeering. Those are different counts. So you get less time shooting at somebody than you do punching somebody with a aid in the aid of racketeering. Believe it or not.
Get out of here now. That's wild.
This how the feds work.
No.
So now in my case, my predicate act was my state case. So I just went to the state case and got found guilty of a great bodily harm. They used this video that was altered so bad. My lawyer is so great. Ryan McKavick and Norleen Isaac, they got the court to only play 4 minutes out of a 30-minute video. And when it got to the 4 minutes, we had to snip it even more. So it was like 1 minute and 58 seconds. So when they played that video in the federal court, it didn't meet the grounds of what I got found guilty for. So by somebody doing the shooting on my state case and saying vice lord, that's what linked me to the RICO as a predicate. I mean, as the racketeering pattern, because I have multiple other adventures with me under the vice lord banner. So they like, oh, we got them now. And when they put me in it, it was nothing. It was merely nothing. And I didn't meet that criteria. So the federal jury found me not guilty on all grounds of everything. The conspiracy to distribute controlled substances, the assault with a dangerous weapon in the aid of racketeering, and in the RICO conspiracy.
Oh, so you beat all these charges?
I beat every single charge that the feds threw at me.
Okay. So what got you held up now? What you held up on now?
So right now, we got newly discovered evidence that came from the federal court where the supervisory special agent Joseph Neither told the jury, hey, there's another LB that's a vice lord and he has violent acts. So if the jury heard this on my original case that I got the 30 years for in a state case, it would have created doubt. So I had to submit this. I'm a year and 11 months to this day waiting for my direct appeal in the Court of Appeals in Michigan.
Man, that's wild. Now, you the first person I talked to that beat a RICO act. Now, how did the rest of the brothers feel about that? What came about that?
So coming to the MDOC, it's taboo. Oh, he beat the feds because he had told. You know, this how these guys come at it. Right. So when you go get the paperwork and you post the paperwork on Instagram, they want to take you off Instagram. You post it on Facebook. You show ain't no rats around here because I stand on what I believe in.
Right.
It's like a gift and a curse. I beat the case, but now I'm shunned. Now the real brothers know the real situation. They rocking with me. The streets rocking with me. Right. It's just that here these guys don't understand the law.
Right.
It's just a weird situation, man. It's a weird vibe, bro.
I could just imagine. You feel me? I know how that go. I've been there. You feel me? Inside there, and I know how guys jump to conclusions. You feel me? So actually, when they came at you, basically you was already locked up, so they didn't have you dealing hand to hand with none of the informers. Then I take it.
Right. So what they did in my case, they outsourced. They started getting guys from the MDOC to come testify against me. It was a particular brother that they talked about in my trial. It's in the transcripts named Ian. And me and him had a bad history in here. He's known for being an informant. And Ian broke out crying. This is relayed from Special Agent Neither, that I would never ever tell on another vice lord. But he told a lot about me. Like, LB is he's a vindictive brother. He's evil. The guy went so far because me and him had a personal vendetta. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he didn't come to court, so I'm happy he didn't come.
That's right. So,
but in all actuality, on my state case, if you remember, if you Google it, I can tell you the exact date at the exact time. My face was plastered on WDIV, Channel 7, Channel 2, Crime Stoppers, the newspapers. My face, Kenneth Johnson, the face of Vice Lord, was publicly slandered, right? So when the jury on my state case deliberated, we never had a jury instruction talking about, do y'all know this guy? We never voted and asked, have you ever seen me or do you know anything about Vice Lord? What happened during the middle of the trial, they added Vice Lord in because Vice Lord had absolutely nothing to do with my state case. The victim said in the prelim that LB, the chief of the Vice Lords, the Judge King said, hey, strike that from the record. That has absolutely nothing to do with nothing. Now, when we got to trial, Rhonda Hadar, the prosecutor, badgered her to say that. And by them hearing Vice Lord, and you seen this in the TV and the media and whatnot, how do you think that played out to white America or to a jury amongst my quote unquote peers?
You have 1 minute remaining.
Right, they already prejudged you. They already
You
prejudged.
feel me? And we never voted about this. So that's an issue in itself. You know what I mean? I push the speedy trial issue because we not under the pandemic banner. They closed down a circuit court. They never closed down district court. It took me 8 months to get a prelim, man. And I filed every paperwork to get a speedy trial.
Get out of here. So where you at with it now in court? What's going on now?
So I'm on my direct appeal, waiting for the Court of Appeals to give me an evidentiary hearing so I could get a new trial to go home.
And so what's the?
I'm a year and 11 months past my everything.
And what they telling you? What's they respond?
Hurry up and wait.
Man. So how you want to sum this up before we close it out?
Hey,
I'm gonna end this now. LB will be back. I'm gonna get this out to y'all. There's the very interesting story about the Detroit Vice Lords. I remember Spaghetti. I know Spaghetti personally. You feel me, from back in the days. Just to let y'all know, he gave y'all a powerful story for those who indulge in being in crews. Those who indulge in being in crews or whatnot. He just let you know how it goes with the feds, how they could just tie you together and make it a criminal enterprise. With that being said, remember the streets ain't what it is. You feel me? And as many stories from the urban community, but this is as many stories from the urban community, and this just but one. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I'm gonna get this story out to y'all. Hit that like button, hit that comment, hit the comments, and please subscribe and share my story out to the public. Pass it on to the youth, have them tap in and tap into them prison stories. I'm trying to do prison reform, so those who can help tap in with me, and we get these brothers some help and bring some attention and some awareness to what's going on with the penal system, the justice system, or whatever you want to call it. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Like I say, hit that like, comment, subscribe. Remember, the streets ain't what it is. And for those who was asking and inquiring about the varsity Letterman's jacket that YBI Chestnut had on is in the ticket right there. Get with Corky. His phone number's on there. You can call him direct, or you can hit his link and check out his clothing. But he got a very nice wear, and y'all should tap in and support our people. Support your people. You know, we go spend that money with people we don't know. Here's a brother from where we from, a brother that looked like you and I. You know what I'm saying? He doing the right thing, and he bringing quality wear. Check it out. You know what I'm saying? And he willing to pull up and deliver. All you gotta do is look in the ticker, take that phone number down, direct line. He here for a limited time. Check out that jogging suit. You know I got to get that hoodie. You feel me? That's right. Look at it. Tap into that grit drip. You feel me? Like I said, tap in with Corky. All the information that you need is in the ticket below. Y'all all been asking about it in the comments, so I got with him, and he said feel free to call him direct, and he will get with y'all, and he will pull up. So tap in, like I say, check it out. You see anything you like, and go on his website. It's more. Oh, and he got some fitted caps. I got to put the fitted caps on, and that's my bad. I will be putting the fitted caps on here too. But tap in with Court and get your latest urban wear. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Hit that like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm Juice for the Beef Factory 313 War Story Podcast, and I'm out.